So what about the commitment aspect? Right? Because Dr. Umar talked about wanting a relationship with the daughter, not necessarily me being married to you. So, like, if you are a father, you are a father. No, it's like a biological. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No, we get that part. So that's not that. And there's a bunch of studies that show that black men are most likely to spend time with their children, even if they're in separate homes, when they are in separate homes, right? So if they're not together and they're not married, never been married, yeah. So yes, they would. No, but that's a separate story from the relationship. They won't. Most men won't really go back to that, but that doesn't mean that they're going to completely abandon the child. They'll still take part in the child's life and spend more time than every other race.
For me, if a man finds out that his wife cheated on him, or that he married her thinking that she was pregnant with his child and that child is not his, I don't see anything wrong with, he was trying to do the right thing with him saying, look, I was bamboozled. No, I'm out of here. I don't see a problem with that, him leaving the situation. That's just me. She put herself in that situation. She knew that wasn't that man's child.
It is absolutely morally correct for that man to walk away.
When he say who broke the home, like, I guess it ended up being a single parent household. Who broke the home? Man walking away, meaning man abandoning in the household. Or women choosing wrong, meaning she might have chose a guy that was clearly showing red flags that he was incapable of being a father or a husband.
Oh, the man walking away because I don't care if she saw what she wanted to see. He knew what he was and still committed.
I don't care.
So you saying the reason why the homes are broken is because the man walked away?
In that specific question,
yeah,
yes.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Yes.
When you say he committed, what do you mean?
Based on what his explanation of the question is like, so she's seeing beige flags when they're really red flags, but they end up together because he's like, whatever, just going with the flow.
That's choosing wrong then.
I'm not finished. Hold up now. Yes, it is choosing wrong, but how is she? And this is the thing, like when people are not transparent, going with the flow is not being transparent. Going with the flow is not saying, I'm not really a relationship type of guy. I'm not, I'm not thinking about this long term. I don't really want something like this. They will accept what's handed to them. And the other person, if she's seeing beige flags, when he knows internally, this ain't for me, I'm going to be out in a little bit. That's on him.
So you're absolving the woman, and the man is being clear that he don't want to be a father. You're saying even though he don't want to be a father, it's still on him.
See, you didn't tell me that part.
Yeah, so when is this I don't want to be a father come into play?
You didn't even say that. Because
I don't know that men are saying that before they have.
And that's why I said y'all have to correct me. I'm thinking men walking away is, hey, look, this is not what I signed up for. I didn't even want a child. You know what I'm saying? Or I didn't even, I told you not to keep it, or, any of that lingo. And then he walks away. So that becomes a broken home. Or the woman chose wrong, meaning she chose a man that clearly wasn't capable of being a father. She expected him to grow into this potential, and he didn't grow in. And she pulled the kid away and packed her bags up and left because she didn't make a proper decision. She didn't use a proper discernment to make a educated decision on whether this man, you should be making a family with this man.
So that is on her.
So, and then now that you know those two instances, who broke the home?
The woman.
Bingo.
Was there a home to begin with?
Shout out to my friend.
Question, Dora. So I think the issue is everything. All of these can be correct, right? Depending on the individual. It's not like one situation. But I will say this: I can pretty much guarantee that when people are having sex, they're not talking about no kids. They're not having sex that they're not going in having sex saying, oh, if you get pregnant, we're not having a kid. I think that conversation takes place after the girl is knocked up.
I agree. And that's why I'm saying we need to move more intentionally and be very transparent first and foremost, because you don't want your entrance into fatherhood and motherhood to be with someone you absolutely can't stand and you're only here out of convenience, only because of this.
Let me add something to that.
Of pressure on that child.
There are women who believe that if you go in her raw, you love her in some type of way. She's like, oh, he don't use no, they think.
That's facts.
Do.
No, that is facts.
Listen, we're putting you up on what women think. You may not know this, but women think that that means you taking their relationship to another level because you decided you trust them. You want to go in raw with them. They do.
Oh my God.
And the whole time you just wanted to feel something.
So for the men who are fathers, is that true? If you stop wearing protection with your girl, is that because you love her? You see her as...
No, that's
that just means it could be a couple of situations for that. It could be ED. It could be maybe you just you want to feel raw. Maybe you don't like the condoms. You want to feel the wetness. It could be a lot of different situations.
I'm telling you, what the girls think.
Yo, where's that music coming from?
He ain't lying about the ED.
So that's the discipline aspect. Despite how you feel, you consistently act in a manner that is in an alignment with who you are or what you want. That's discipline. Mm-hmm. So then, you okay, Bohemian?
I'm fine. I'm listening. I'm listening.
You're doing a whole lot of listening and not enough talking. That's the problem.
I just am trying to. I'm like, wow. There is so much nuance missing from the conversation. I did write one thing down because I was like, I cannot forget this. That whole freedom in relationships. I want us to start having a 21st century conversation when it comes to freedom in relationships, because this freedom started 30 years ago in the 90s. This freedom, before that, but for my generation, I saw it myself in the 90s. Men terrified to get married for whatever reason, making babies and walking away. That freedom that guys used to not have, you used to have to get married to that woman because you knocked her up. Guys chose that freedom a long time ago. These dynamics changed decades ago. It's just that now women are choosing to not put up with just anything just to have a man. We are requiring men to be better people. Otherwise, we would just rather not deal with you. That is the freedom that we are choosing. But birth rates have gone down. So women are not choosing wrong. If in fact you have a choice, you got a bowl full of strawberries, but 90% of them strawberries is moldy. You don't have much to choose from. Choose wrong. You choose something, but
period.
And a lot and some of those, let's think of some of those strawberries being moldy on the inside. So the outside looks real appetizing, but once you bite into it, that is when you find out that they moldy and bad. That is not choosing wrong. That is the outside looking good, but the inside being bad. But you have to get to the inside first. And you cannot vet liars and manipulators. I really want us to understand that. We are not choosing wrong. We are choosing what your representative is. It is only until you drop that mask that we like, oh, gotta go. And then that's where the freedom is. I can leave. Can leave once I find that out. But unfortunately, that mask stays up so long. That mask stays up for years at a time. And by that time, you could probably have 2 kids. We don't know. But I want us to stop having such surface level conversation. That's why I'm sitting over here like losing my mind, because I'm like, it's too complicated. It's too nuanced. We're not offering the true dynamics of the relationships of the 21st century. You all are still having conversations from relationships in the early 20th century, and it just doesn't apply now, and that's okay.
Let me ask you this, Bohemian. It sounded like you suggested that 90% of men are unmarriageable. Is that what you said?
No. That was just an example. I'm not. No. That's not a percentage example that I mean. I'm just saying.
No, we just said, because you said 90%. That's why I was.
No.
But a lot of people, I'm sure I'm not the only one who perceived it like that. So then, if that's the case, what percent of men do you think are unmarriageable then?
I don't know. That's not my call to make. Once again, it's
you got to have a range.
And the only reason I say that, I don't want to give a number, because like I said, there are too many men leading with representatives. So I can't say. It could be a lot, it could be a little, it could be most, it could be half. I don't know. It's too many representatives being presented for me to truly say. So I don't want to.
So how about you give us anecdotal then, based on your experiences or the people around you that you know? What would you say, just from that small sample size of the men that you have access to? What would you say? We can't hold you to it, but I just want to know where you're coming from with this, because you mentioned 90%. Now you're kind of shying away from it.
So, well, I was just giving a number. That wasn't me giving that to men specifically, but so that's why I say that it's complicated, right? I've had a lot of men just lead with representatives, right? But I would have to say more than half of the men that I personally have dated are great men. We are just not meant for each other. Like, personality wise, we might not get along. We're better friends than anything. It's just so many different things. Our values may not be the same, but they're not a bad
I think
guy.
You might have touched it right there with the values not being the same, right? And somebody made a reference to it earlier, like when we were talking about like the shotgun weddings. That's what they were referred to. We talked about it a few weeks ago. I think Sweeney might have brought it up, where if you knock somebody up, then you knew, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and marry this person, because people understood the duty of it, right? They understood that there was a child involved and they would do it. And people didn't have a bunch of problems. They didn't complain about surface level things that were stupid, in my opinion. But now everyone has all these weird reasons and this, like hyper sense of self now, like me, this is what I need versus family versus evolution versus legacy. No one cares about that anymore. That's the main problem, is that everyone is now become a hyper individualist, right? And I think that women are now, they have access to more things than they used to, and yeah, more power to you. That's awesome. However, I don't think that women are doing the correct things with the power. Women are abusing the power, and that's one thing that we know psychologically. Women do abuse power more than men do. That's just the facts, right? It's even when it comes to physical harm and everything, women are more violent when they have an advantage than men are. Men more so would protect. This is just, I mean, go ahead and dig it up. You ain't got to believe me. These are easily accessible, and I will bring them up later on if that's what y'all want, right? But I'm not talking out of my ass here. I'm going by things that are legit truths.